So you know what that means? More brain cells up here. And you know what I notice when I actually do longer periods of fasting? My head actually gets bigger. I'm like, holy moly, I'm getting so much more smarter. Hello team, it is your health and fitness coach Tyson Brown here, back with another fitness tip. And today we are talking about the benefits of intermittent fasting, why you should do it, longer term fasting, what happens, and pretty much just to give you the overall update about why it's such a fucking awesome idea. So let's talk about the benefits you get from intermittent fasting first. In fact, I've actually written down a couple of notes so I don't forget, so I don't look like a stupid idiot on camera, but I'm gonna get them right now. So, talking about the benefits of intermittent fasting, right? There are a lot of them, and there's a lot of trends coming out about, you know, like a lot of people are asking me about it, and because I've been doing it for so long now, I've probably been doing it for since 2014, so about 3 years, I kind of know my shit when it comes to it, and it's been one of the most beneficial things I've actually done. So some of the benefits you actually get when it comes to intermittent fasting isn't just the fat loss that people think about. The biggest benefit you're going to get is actually called autophagy, and autophagy means self-eating, right? So what that means is you're actually going to have cells in your body that get eaten and killed off when you're not eating food, because the body goes into like a cleansing mode. And so what happens when you have cells that aren't working properly, you know, when you have could have cancerous cells, not saying that it will, but can actually kill those things, so you're going to have better functioning cells, okay? Now this is really, really important, because when you have better functioning cells, you're gonna feel better, you're gonna look better, you're gonna be more healthier, and you're gonna be an overall better human being, right? So as fat loss is a really big component, but one of the most important things is that autophagy and self-eating, right? Another thing that happens when you do longer periods of fasting is that you actually increase something called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So you know what that means? More brain cells up here. And you know what I notice when I actually do longer periods of fasting? My head actually gets bigger. I'm like, holy moly, I'm getting so much more smarter. No, not really, but you actually do increase your brain cells. You do increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is a big benefit. And this happens usually after about the 24-hour mark. So between 24 to 48 hours and longer, you get an upregulation in BDNF. Another thing you get improved is improved immune function too. So you have white blood cells and red blood cells in your body. Well, when you go into a longer period of fasting, you're actually upregulating your immune system. So that's another reason you can actually prevent sickness, you can prevent the common cold and things like that by actually doing longer periods of fasting. And if you guys have noticed, a lot of my clients notice this too, since I've been a personal trainer, I've probably been sick twice this whole time. And one of the reasons was actually because I ate ginger, and I'm allergic to ginger, and it completely wiped me out. And another time is when I got a bug, right? Yeah, I got a parasite when I went overseas, came back, and I was pretty wrecked. But apart from that, I don't get sick, I don't get the common cold, I don't get sniffles, I don't have to take off work, and I actually think it's because of the intermittent fasting and the benefits that come along with it from improving my immune function. Now, the next tip I'm going to talk to you guys about, lucky I've got my handy dandy note right here, is, let's have a look here. I've talked about autophagy, I've talked about brain-derived neurotrophic factor, fat burning, of course. So you actually go into a fat burning state. Now the reason you go into a fat burning state is because you can only store so much glucose in your muscles at a time. And glucose is coming from carbohydrates, right? Predominantly from carbohydrates. So when your body doesn't have carbohydrates to burn, it's gonna use fat as a fuel source. So you're actually burning fat when you are doing longer periods of fasting, because your body's used all the energy it has, it needs to use something, it's gonna start accessing fuel sources. And that's why I tell you, if you're gonna do intermittent fasting, you do cardio in the morning, or you do longer periods and things like that, because you're gonna be doing more fat burning when you're in that zone. So you don't want to do high intensity training, because honestly you need carbohydrates for that type of stuff. But when you do longer periods of low intensity cardio, or you do your weight training, you are actually in fact burning fat. And at the end of the day, fat burning is what we want, right? So just think about that too, because there are a lot of benefits that happen when you're doing this. But it's not just the fat burning. And you're also going to notice when you do longer periods of fasting, you're going to lose weight at the end of the day because you're restricting yourself to how much food you can be eating in that time. And if you can only eat for a certain amount of time, you're not going to be able to eat as much. And if you restrict yourself from food for 24 hours or more, then you're most likely going to start losing weight. But a lot of it's going to be water weight too, because you're going to be peeing out water, you're going to be going to the bathroom and doing shit, you're not going to be eating any food, so you're going to drop liquid too, right? So you're still going to lose some weight, but some of it's going to be water weight too. So don't get confused when you do longer periods of fasting. If you drop a couple of kilos and you're like, I just dropped 4 kilos of body fat in a week, because it doesn't happen like that. But you will get noticeable weight loss if you're consistent with it. Now, what about, when it comes to the benefits, what about mental clarity people say they have, or they feel better? And it's true, you do get more mental clarity when you don't eat food. At the start, you're probably going to feel like you're a bit naughty because your body's not used to it, but that will improve over time. And you also increase your metabolic flexibility. So when we talk about metabolic flexibility, that means that your body's able to use carbs as a fuel source and use fats as a fuel source, which is really, really cool, because that means that when you need carbs doing high intensity training, the body's gonna be able to access them. But when I'm sitting on my ass doing this, or when I'm doing low intensity cardio, or when the body needs to, it'll swap over to fat and start using fat as a fuel source. And being able to have that metabolic flexibility is going to be really, really beneficial for overall body composition and energy levels too. So we've gone over a couple of things here about why intermittent fasting and longer periods of fasting is so much more beneficial. And there's one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to doing your fasting, and it's also meaning that you can eat more in a smaller amount of time. So as you know, for me, I was a little bit of a chubby kid when I was younger, and I used to love to eat. I actually used to love to eat until I was full, right? And what I realized is when I was trying to diet and lose weight, I kept overeating because I was like, fuck, I just want to be full. I want to have that, I don't want to be hungry all the time. And following intermittent fasting, when I can eat in a shorter window and feel full after I eat a meal, it caused me to not overeat food. So if you're someone who has this type of thing where you have a big appetite, or you wanted that feeling of being full and satiated after a meal, then having that smaller time frame period to be able to do that is going to be so much more beneficial for you, because it's going to stop you from overeating because you've only got a certain amount of time to eat, and it's also going to help you like stop overeating, but also help you maintain sanity at the end of the day too. So there are a lot of benefits there. Increased brain size, increased brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You get to feel better. You're going to improve your digestion too, because you're giving it time to relax, to recover. Because some people, you're just cramming food in there all the time, especially shitty food. When you take time to do a 24-hour longer fast, you're giving the body to do what it's got to do. Autophagy, it eats bad cells, which means you're going to regenerate new and healthy cells. You're going to have an improved immune function. You're going to have fat loss, and you're going to feel better overall. So give intermittent fasting a try. It's one of the best things I recommend. And I'm your health and fitness coach, Tyson Brown. If you have any other questions, before you go, click on the link below and get your free chapter of my new book coming out. It's a sneak peek on how to set some goals when it comes to losing fat. So guys, make sure to click on the chapter. Speak to you next time.